Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Hey, internet, how's it going? My webcam's not working. Of course it's not working. Why would I need that working? Good Lord, streaming is hard. It's my name, Aaron LeBeau. How you guys doing? I'm about to try to get my webcam working real quick here. Give me a second to sort this out. I think I know what's going on here. Let's see here. Get this like this. Get this like this. Come on. See if we can get the camera working. Hey, I think the camera's working. Look at that. Technology at hand here. My name's Aaron LeBeau. How's it going? I am a developer advocate at Couchbase, and you are watching the .NET Lunch live stream on your favorite social or your favorite streaming platforms, including YouTube, Twitch, and now Twitter or X, whatever it's called. I'm on there also streaming. What the heck's going on here? Yeah, I mean, it's just a button you click to do that. So welcome if you're on X, man. That's cool. I don't care where you hang out. As long as you hang out, that's cool. Video quality seems to be okay. Just looking here to see the video quality. We're going to do some scrolling here just to test on X. I've got it open over here on X, and I'm just, it's off screen over here, but I'm just looking to see the video quality. As you know, if you've been watching the .NET Lunch streams, you know I've been fighting with video quality issues, and I've been trying to make sure that if I'm going to stream to multiple platforms, the video looks pretty decent when we do that. And the answer is, oh boy. It is working. Look at that. So I'm going to turn the volume down there so I don't hear myself over on the stream. I've tested the volume. We're good. If you're on YouTube watching video on demand, there's a lot of you that do that. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Let's see here. A lot has changed. I apologize for not lunch streaming earlier this week. I had some issues going on at work with some production stuff. That's not good. Sorry about that. That's my text messages. Got to get those off the screen. My wife just texted me. All right, now we're ready to go here. Anyways, I'm a developer advocate at Couchbase, but I also run some front-end web team stuff and on the side as a side thing. And that is, we had some issues, and so I had to fix those. I do need this release. I got it on my laptop, and it fixes the .NET 8 support. And so that was one thing I wanted to talk about today, is that, man, if you're doing .NET 8 stuff, and you're using Router on a Mac, you need to get the latest EAP, Early Access Program. I did this on my laptop, and night and day difference. There's a bunch of fixes for it. If you feel like the tooling is not great, this update is not perfect, but is a lot better. It's a road down a good path. I'm going to restart real quick here. Now, I've made some code changes, and we'll go through those. I think if you've watched the previous streams, you'll see that I have also posted some bugs that I'm seeing. They finally got marked as bugs inside of the Maui project, and I'm not sure when they're going to get fixed. But I did pull down my latest code here, and we're going to play around with it a little bit. So you'll see here I'm back to Rider. It does have a different start screen. Now, this is happening for a different reason. I'll get into that later, but let's go ahead and just open up our project here and take a look at what's going on here. What have we done? So it's done some plugin updates. That's great. It's analyzing my code. What's new? The preview, the AI preview was pretty funny. We did that a couple days ago. We tried to do that a couple days ago because it said, hey, it's got this new AI thing to try, and then you try that, and it doesn't work. Like right here, if you click Learn More, you're like, hey, this looks pretty cool. This is a new AI thing, and I'm all into the AIs, right? And then it's like, how do I turn this on? And look at this. So this is what's going on here. It's $8 a month, or $10 if you do it monthly. So it's $100 billed annually. It looks like, or you're going to get it for a trial for free, and then there's an enterprise which is coming in 2024. They don't have an answer to that, but what this does is has AI chat, write documentation, commit messages, generate code, explain, all integration with AI integration with JetBrains Teams tools. I don't have the team tools, but that's basically $100 a year, which is about the same price as Copilot, GitHub solution. Obviously, they're out there trying to do the things there, and so that logically makes sense why they're out there doing that, but that's kind of interesting. The GitHub stuff is in beta, so hey, let's see here. Let's say hi, Copilot. Can you tell me how to fix Maui.NET Maui Android issues with app theme binding? We'll ask Copilot here. So this is new. Copilot has not been enabled for me for a while. It is giving some suggestions here. Hello world. Light embark. That doesn't work though. So here's what's saying that you have to have though. This is kind of nice. Let's see here. So if you still have issues, make sure you're targeting at least Android 10 API 29. It needs app theme binding requires you to be on version 29. So that's the target, not the backward compatibility, but the target. You're using latest Maui. I'm using 8. If you're on testing an emulator, make sure you're on. If you're testing on an emulator, try testing on a physical device. Sometimes emulators don't perfectly replicate behavior. That's not 100% true. Emulator's whole point is to replicate real behavior. A simulator doesn't do that. iOS simulators do not replicate real-time behavior, but Android emulators are literally the operating system being emulated. Check your Android manifest to ensure you have the correct settings for handle themes. If you're still having issues, you might need to provide more specific details. Well, that's a good point, ChatGPT. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes here. So what did I do to fix some of the issues? So one, remember I put that ticket in a couple days ago, or that issue with GitHub. So let's copy that and get that into my, where's my browser window for this right here. Let me bring that in for another screen. So we kind of talked about this previous stream. There's an issue with iOS where the menu items don't work. I had also jumped onto this and saying a +1 on this, that, hey man, this crap doesn't work, and the solutions provided above also did not work for me. So I was like, hey, I'm also seeing this. Not great, right? This person, Andy G74, is a superhero because he put some code that actually does work. If you take Andy's solution, which is basically on iOS platform only, add in some padding, and specifically 2020-76 with a default 20 for everybody else, this literally fixes the problem. Yeah, this is the fix, man. This is the fix. Now, of course, he's doing it in a vertical stack layout, so I could always swap that out, a vertical stack for like a grid if I want. The point is, I don't think it's the container that matters. It's the margin and padding on the container itself. So now let's go look at our app here with Andy's idea here, right? Let's go take a look and see how that's going to work. So I'm going to go in here. I got my app shell. I put my documentation in here, right? That this is a fix until that comes out. That reminds me to go back, and I should probably put to do in here. To do, because that's a good idea. Fix for iOS until this bug's fixed, right? And we now have that there. That's pretty great. Let's go ahead and just run this puppy on an emulator, simulator. Errors, incompatible device selected. Okay. Why would that be incompatible? Okay, this is new since I did the update. This worked on my laptop. Let's close this and reopen. We may have to do a clean, maybe? Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. Let's try cleaning. And so in the tools, you have to build twice. If you build once, it doesn't work. But if you build twice, it gets a lot better. I may have to check the configuration because it's acting like iOS and the iPhone project here. You can't select an iPhone. Now, the build will fail the first time. That's been happening since we started this project. And then the second time, it magically works. I believe this is a tooling linking issue here, right? So we get a linking error here. But then the funny part is you build a second time once this error comes through. So let's let it finish. It's having a bad day. You know, like that song from the 90s, I had a bad day. I can't see the rest of it because they'll copyright me here. But kind of like that, you'll see here there's 2 build errors. Now, of course, it's taking forever for the tooling. It just says it's building. Doesn't tell me what it's doing. But here we can see here, Android built, but the iOS and Mac did not build. Funny part is if I build a second time, it just works. Not worked. Yeah, tooling. Yay for tooling. That sucks. So let's take a look at iOS here. What's going on here? We've obviously got some kind of issue where iOS used to work and doesn't anymore. So that seems right. It's .NET launch. This is all right. Let's go to Mac. I mean, this is all actually how it's supposed to work. Cancel. And see, look at all the simulators are unchecked, but the iPads are checked. Let's try an iPad mini. Let me just double check Xcode to make sure that the Xcode lands. I don't have like some kind of weird thing going on with my emulators. Here's my iPad mini starting up, which is way too big. I mean, it's supposed to be a mini, not a Pro. Let's get that started. Let's take a look at Xcode real quick here. What version of Xcode are we on? We're in Xcode 15. Settings. So this is an Xcode. If you were to go to Xcode and settings, you get the settings, you go to platforms, and these are the platforms that are installed on your Mac that you could use for iOS development. You can see here 14 is built in, but you can see here I have 17, I have the 16.4, and I have the 15.5 simulators all on disk. And then for Apple TV, I've got 17. You can just add a new platform by hitting this down here and saying iOS, and then you can just say what platform you want. Obviously, the Apple's only going to let you go back a couple versions these days, so that's how it works. But I don't see an issue there. I mean, my Xcode version, I'm not sure if I need to update that. But let's go ahead and try the iPad here. And if I click developer, that works. And if I click projects, that works. So it's working on an iPad at least. That's a good sign, right? That my app's working there, but I want to check on an iPhone. So let's stop and try to see if we can figure out what's going on here. Why are my simulators not being allowed to be checked? I would guess CS Proj, right? That's where it probably is. This worked on my laptop. That's the weird part. So let's take a look here at platforms. We're saying to get targeted platform, here's our condition. We want to support iOS 14, Mac Catalyst 14. Do I have to say, what happens if I do this? Incompatible families. Device supports iPhone family, but project requires iPad. That's not true. Let's go back to 14. Actually, 15 is probably the last version of iOS I'd want to support in this app. But okay, so where could this problem be? All right, so in iOS, there is something called the info P list. Info P list is a scary thing that gives the device families, right? So this is where it should be reading which devices can use this, this app, right? And there's 2 versions of this. They also have like a plist editor that you can use here, which looks more like Xcode, I guess. You can see here we are supporting, I like the text version of this better. But if we look here, we're supporting UI device family. So let's go here. LS requires iPhone. Let's go through and check this to see what the hell is going on with this setting. I think this is a writer bug because it only happened this. let's go here, find out the keys. We see here iOS family and see iOS device family. So value, default, runs on iPhone and iPod Touch, and then 2 runs on iPads. This key is supported in iOS 30 or 3.2 and later. Do not insert manually into PFO. Xcode asserts it based on the value. Target family, build settings. Should build settings to change value. All right, so this is what's my guess. They're reading number 2 only, and they're skipping number 1, even though it's an array. So what ends up happening is they're just building for iPad. So this would be a bug in Rider if they're doing that, right? So we can just do that real quick. We can just pop that out, see if that fixes it. We'd have to load and reload the project for it to see that. That's just how things work. And the Rider's line, let's see if that fixes it. Still telling me iPad only. And that is a problem, right? That is a Rider bug. Let's see here. Hey, BitSpectre, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. We're playing around with the latest EAP, the early access preview of JetBrains Rider, using some .NET Maui love here. We're on this build here number that was built on December 3rd, and it seems to have a bug where can't build an iOS in my Maui project on an iPhone. Looks like the ability to do iPad supported, the ability to do Mac is supported. Boy, that padding's not working on Mac. Look at that. That looks like turd, absolutely turd. I'll have to fix that on platform. But for whatever reason in iOS, when I select my devices, it tells me that the iPhone is not compatible. And it only gives me iPads an option. That is super stupid and frustrating. And so I've went to CS so a couple different places this could be. I thought it was Info plist that we had a UI device family issue where it was reading only the last value in here. This should be set to 1 and 2. Let's see here. Supported orientation would not be it. We have supported for phone and iPad, so that's not it either. This Info plist looks pretty clean. Let's check this real quick. I think this is a super old key also. So let's check here. I don't even see that anymore in the reference list. Is that maybe what's going on here? Let's find out what's going on here. LS requires iPhone. A Boolean value. It would much run on iOS. LS minimum system version. Looks like this was put in iOS 12. And a Boolean value. It is set to true. But I don't think Rider's reading that in either. What made you choose Maui? Good question. I'm actually not just doing Maui. I'm actually doing both it and Uno. On the lunch stream, I'm working on building an app in all 3 of the major UI platforms for .NET so I can compare them. Because I get a lot of people that ask this exact question, why do you choose Maui? This is a .NET stream, so we're talking about like .NET technology. I do other streaming at night, Swift and Kotlin with Android on Android native mostly. I do some Flutter too. Why am I playing around with Maui right now? Well, .NET 8 just shipped. It's pretty cool. It's got some new bits in it. That's kind of interesting. And I was a Xamarin developer for years. I've been a native developer for a long time, but I also did a lot of Xamarin, made a lot of decent cash at that. Companies really like Xamarin. So I want to make sure I keep my skills up. I want to make sure that I understand what's going on in the world of Xamarin. So I'm looking here at the issues at hand that could be causing this. I don't believe changing this is going to fix it, by the way. I don't believe saying that is it because I don't believe that Rider reads this for its compatibility. I think that Rider should be getting this from the CS Proj. Okay, that's my guess. So I'm going to put that back to true because I don't think that's fixing me. Instead, I think what's going on here is that when Rider reads in the target platform here, something's broke here in iOS. land over here. And this is why it is somehow getting that. I'm looking here to see if I have anything else in the CS project that would stick out to say this is a problem. Obviously, we have a configuration flag here for Catalyst. Catalyst, we need to say that we want to use ARM for that version. We're not going to support. We're not going to support x86 because I don't have an x86 Mac anymore, and those are kind of a rare thing these days, in the sense that Apple's kind of moved away from those. So let's see here. Application version, that seems fine. All this other things seem like nothing's changed, and this used to work before I updated. So of course that's the dreaded. Well, before I upgraded, it worked. So we're only getting an iPad Mini. I feel like I have to put a bug in for this. So I'm not going to make you guys watch me do that on stream. I'll do that after offline. But I'm going to have to put a bug in. And so that's the whole thing. You want to always provide feedback to the developers on to fix things. Also, I noticed that this toolbar kind of sucks. In the sense that the UI, there's no way to get to the other buttons here if this is bigger than the screen. Like the debug button and stuff is hidden. And so you can't see it because it requires too much screen real estate. But like my menu and stuff is getting lost in the UI because it's just too long for 1024 by 768, which is the world that I stream at. And if your UI doesn't fit in that, you're killing a lot of laptop users. That's not cool. So something's going on. Manage Mac agent. You shouldn't even need a Mac agent for this. So the only thing I could think of is that there's maybe an Xcode version release problem here. Let's go back here. Developer.apple.com. Let's go here. Let me not put on the stream. And it's gonna give me a code that I have to type in. 1 second. 5, 7, 2, yeah. Please trust my browser. I am who I say I am. I am not evil. Well, I mean, am I not evil? Yeah, I'm not evil. Let's see here if Apple's gonna let me in to get this download. Come on, Apple. Let's go with it. Oh, come on. What's going on here? Continue a password. I did this already, Apple. I think there might be an issue with Apple's authentication system here. Waiting on their authentication system forevers. I'm going to check to see if maybe it's the Xcode version thing. That could be the issue. And I've been using direct downloads. Xcode used to give the option to just update inside of it. Like you just go to Xcode and update. You just go, update, but there is no updater built in anymore. They want you to do it from the App Store, which I hate because the App Store randomly doesn't work. So I try to just download it directly. But yeah, it's just sending me to the App Store. And according to this, it's version 15.1, but I don't see 15.01 on my Mac. I see 15.0. Let me just double check here. Oh, look at this. Oh, there's the issue. It's now opened. I have 2 versions of Xcode on my computer. That's what's going on. Oh, man. It's not it. It is literally, that's the problem. Oh, let's type in my super secret password. It's 8 stars. It's actually more than 8 stars. That's what's going on. So Apple updated through the App Store, and I have 2 versions of Xcode on my computer now. Xcode 5.0 and 5.1. There it is. Why does it say 14? But that's definitely the issue here. Here's my Xcode 15.01 now. Let's see if we have downloads and see if those emulators are downloading. Doesn't say anything about downloading emulators. Devices and simulators. Let's go see what we got going on here. Okay. This is looking clean. Let's go and just try to launch a simulator that we think should work. So here's the iPads. Here's my iPhone mini. This is what I've been using. Okay, maybe this will fix it. Maybe this was the whole entire problem. Let's go back to Rider, close that, and reopen it, and see if that's it. I was gonna say this worked on my laptop, which was making me a little bit cranky because I was like, well, wait a minute. I know I've tested this on my laptop and it worked. So why would this bug only happen on my desktop? Let's see if we can get the iPhone now to show up. No devices. It's still not there. Let me open a native app and just make sure I can debug natively. Wait, what version of this? I do have 2 versions of Xcode on the computer. That's what's going on here. I think it's getting confused. Where is the other version of Xcode at then? Because I just seen Xcode 15.1. So here's Xcode 14. This is not 15.1, is it? That's what's going on. 14 has actually been updated to 15.1. So this is 15. Rename this to Xcode. Rename. Now when I launch it, let's close out of Xcode. See if this opens 15.1 now. That's 15 still. Okay, this is stupid as heck. All right, 1 second. Is this 15? Manage Xcode versions. Let's double check this. So the Xcode name by itself is Xcode 15. So we want to rename this to old. Yes, rename. And take this version and just take the 14 out of it. This will become Xcode 15. It's going to ask me to type my password in. I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay. Close JetBrains Rider. Yeah, we do definitely want to exit. Let's double click Xcode. Come on, Xcode, run. There it is, 15.1. Okay. All right. Now let's just make sure that Xcode 15.1. Let's go open a project. Let's go open one of the Swift UI things we've been working on. Let's see here. Let me just open this one. Make sure I can debug this on an iPhone and that it's not my Xcode that's screwed up. So here we go. We got Xcode open. This is a Swift project that I also have been working on. I do like Swift UI a lot. I think it's one of the coolest platforms to code for if you're trying to code for Apple platforms. Instead of my Mac. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, what's get? That's what's going on. Let's go to settings here. That's what's going on. Xcode 15.1 doesn't have my simulators downloaded. It says I have the other ones, but it doesn't say it has a 17s for some reason. I'm guessing it's because iOS 17.01 came out, and so maybe it blew those up. That's probably why, because I know I have on my laptop I have Xcode updated more often because I that's my primary platform. I'm doing Xcode, Swift UI development on. On the stream here, I've been mostly doing .NET the last few weeks, so that's why. This may fix this issue, so that would maybe make sense why. Let me just double check here. We'll check the Googles. JetBrains Rider doesn't allow Maui app to run on iOS simulator. Only iPad simulator. See what's going on here? It's a bug. 3 years ago. And let's see what they're saying. This seems like a super old bug, but a lot of bugs on this. Bug. Build change device and select the simulator works just fine. Okay. All these say that they're fixed, and all of them were about a year ago, so that's weird. We're verifying the iPhone simulators right now in Xcode. That should make sure that we can run on those. And then we'll just make sure that we can we make sure we run on a simulator natively. So that's the secret, right? If you can run on a simulator natively, then this is not the issue. So let's close this iPad out. And then now let's try. I really wanted. Okay. I say always run on that, and it doesn't give me in the list. So that's definitely an Xcode problem, right? I want the iPhone 13 mini to always show up as a run destination. Close up the project, reopen it back up, and see if that works. See if it can see it now. Nope. But it does give me SE third generation, and that's good enough. Let's just make sure the SE, because SE and the Mini are right around the same size, and that's what I care about. So let's see here, simulator. Let's see if it's building. We're getting builds. That's a good sign. Build succeeded. Let's wait for the iPhone simulator to see if it launches. That's awesome. It crashed on me. Let's see if it comes back. I think Xcode's on crack because I don't think that that's going to work because the simulator crashed. Yeah, the simulator is not running at all on my Mac. So it thinks that it's running, but it's not. Let's try again. Second time's a charm. There we are. We have a Hello World app running. Okay, so that's running on a third generation SC, and that happened via Xcode without problem. So let's go in, now that we know that this runs, get Rider back open up and see if we can get Rider to work properly. Let's go to settings real quick and make sure that it knows where Xcode is. We want Xcode 15.1. So that's right. And it's still not allowing me to select anything outside of an iPad. So let's do this real quick. Close it out. We'll open up JetBrains non-EAP. This is regular JetBrains Rider. Not fully compatible with .NET 8, so this is this project. Sorry, I'm opening up off screen here. So here is this is the currently production version, and all the devices are allowed. So there's iPhone 13. So this is a problem with a rider update that's causing this. So I need to get a bug over to them. So there's an update to that. So that's rider. This is a rider issue. Great. Weird. It's not. It's only happening on my Mac Studio, not happening on the laptop that I have. Inquiry minds. All right. Interesting. Let's see if it works. I mean, the whole point of this was to I selected iPhone 13, so the SE is not going to work. Let's see if it loads up the 13. This is what happens when you run too close to the sun. When you run on a platform that isn't 100% supported. But .NET 8's been out for a month now. I'm kind of hoping that JetBrains would get their act together and get better support out for this day one. That's a bummer. A big bummer. So let's see here. We're building. We bring up our build details. Let's see if we can see what's going on here. Well, this is what I was talking about earlier. Build always fails the first time. Let's build a second time. And it seems to work. Let's try again. Oh, wow. So this is interesting. In the production version of it, I build every time and it does not work. Let me try this. Now it worked. Okay. Okay, so that seems to be working. Try iPhone. See if it works on iPhone. iPhone's opening up. EAP definitely seems to have a bug with this, so interesting. We wanted to see is whether or not our menu works. So if we go to projects, that is working. Okay. So the projects, this was our bug that we couldn't click on projects in the navigation menu. So the fix for padding worked here, but we're going to have to do something like this for Mac Catalyst. Mac Catalyst equals. And this is going to have to be 20, 20, 20. Maybe. Oh, what am I thinking? That's going to be bottom 2. So that gives us a little bit more space. Let's do this. This is where our user profile is going to go, which is what we're going to work on next. So I'm interested to see, is 20 pixels down enough? I don't think it is. It's not. Yeah. So that's way too high. So this should work like style sheets. This should be left, top, right, bottom, right? So if this is top, we would say that we want this to be on Catalyst specifically about 120 pixels down, maybe. Let's try 100 pixels. Oh boy, I didn't want to do that. 100 pixels. Try that and see if that works. There's no hot reload in Maui, so at least in Rider. So if you're looking for a hot reload, it's just not going to happen here. Not yet. So that means you're building each time. Okay, that looks better. I think that's going to work. I think that's going to work for what we want to do and how we want the UI to look. Okay, we're making some progress. Let's see what this for 20 on the iPhone. I think it's going to need to be 42 pixels down. You're saying that's pretty specific, Aaron. How are you getting 42? It's the old header of the navigation header in iOS, right? Honestly, it's the original header. You had, if you use a UI navigation controller, want to say that was 42 pixels. Yeah, so you can see here that it's right breaking the line with the navigation bar, which is what I'd want to do because that would push this down then quite a bit. And we'll definitely want more padding on the bottom. So I think the padding of 76 is not enough. I would guess that I need that to be closer to like maybe 100 pixels down from it. See if the clean project works. It does. Okay, that's getting better. That's getting a lot better. Okay. Well, I mean, this has been a productive stream now. We've figured out, one, it seems like it's working. The production release of Ride is working versus the EAP, which is definitely not allowing us to use iPhone to debug. I started adding in my database code. That's what I was doing last week. And I've got some database code in here, but I need to clean this up. So I need to get to the point where my seed service works right in each one of the platforms. So what I changed was when we register our Maui app, we're registering view models and views and services all separately now here. Okay. And if we look here, this is what ends up happening. So when I register a service, one of the problems is going to be is I need to give a different version of the service than on iOS than I do on Android and Catalyst. So the theory is that I've got a service in each one of the platforms. Okay. So if we look here, Android, iOS, and Mac in the services folder, and each one of them are named for the platform specifically. Okay. So I've got an Android version, an iOS version, and a Mac version. And they all inherit from this interface. Now the problem is that I only want the Android version to load when Android's up. I want Mac Catalyst version when Mac, and then iOS when iOS. And of course I'll have a Windows version, and that should load when Windows loads. Now I'm on a Mac, so I can't do the window thing here. So I'll need to get my VM running. Or I'm probably not going to use a VM. I'm probably going to use, I've got an Elgato capture camera. And I can capture a actual Windows machine. So what I have, which I'm going to try to stream tomorrow on also, is I have a Windows development device. It's called a Windows development device. They're not very famous, but they were released last year. I have one. Windows Development Kit ARM. So this is a Windows ARM development kit. I have one of these. I don't want to sign up for this. You see they're out of stock. And what it has is it has a Snapdragon processor in it, 32 gig of RAM. It's got Windows 11 Pro on it. It runs a half a gigabyte of storage. It runs our Arduino graphics card, which is absolutely shit. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like to curse. I apologize for that, but it is garbage. It is usable, but slow. But we're going to load our project on there to do the Windows part. And so they say they have all kinds of stuff about this. But basically, what this was supposed to be was like a Mac Mini for Windows for ARM developers. It's not that. This device is really slow compared to a Mac Mini. I had a Mac Mini, and it was nowhere near as slow as this. It is as slow as the day is long, but it's cool. It runs ARM. I mean, if you're an embedded guy, you're trying to write stuff for like embedded .NET, and you need an ARM device to compile and do that on, it's a cool device for that. But outside of that, it's not very cool. But we need a Windows device to run our code on. And since we're all about doing unusual things here on the channel, that's my cup of tea is doing unusual things. I think that'd be kind of cool to do. So I'm going to use my Elgato capture card tomorrow. I've got to get everything set up. I started setting it up yesterday, but ran out of time because of some work issues. So I'm hoping to get that set up today. And then tomorrow we'll probably take a look at that with Windows. So let's see here. So I think we've got this UI glitch done. Now, Android UI glitch still exists. That's still open bug. And that at least on the GitHubs, let's duplicate this so we don't lose that. If we go back, they've at least admitted that this is a bug in Shell. So I put a bug in that the theming is not working right now. What we're going to do is we're probably just going to leave it hard-coded to a certain color in Android until these guys can come around and fix this bug in Shell. So Android's going to be a little bit turdy for us for a period of time until this bug gets fixed that I put in last week during a lunch stream on last week, where we found that. And so those of you new that have not watched one of the prior videos, what we found was that in Shell, when we do the flyout menu, Android specifically does not listen to these there's something called the themes. So there's an app theme binding, and Android does not listen to it. In fact, I commented all this code out because we were trying to get to the point, if you add in the code from the documentation, it bombs the app out. And so this code came from the documentation where we were trying to do an on-platform stuff right here, this code right here. We were trying to do this, and this bombs the application out altogether. So that's bad. Bomb is bad. So we commented it all out, and what we're going to end up doing is on Android specifically, probably just change the color of the background on everything for a period of time until they come up with a fix. So if we look at Android, let's go to Android real quick and just make sure that that's still the case. And we're on API 33. Now, the one thing that they did say, we were talking to Copilot earlier about this, and Copilot did say make sure that your build is building off of API 29 at least. Otherwise, the bindings won't work. Now, that's an interesting point to point out. And we can go look at our CS proj file. Here's our Android emulator running. I should be able to resize this because it's a resizable. And the app's there. It's just, I think it's building. Yep, it's building. Let's look at Android real quick here and see what Android's got set up for it. Usually in Android, there's very specific stuff that they have in the CS proj for it. I don't see anything other than standard output. We could check to see if that's maybe the issue. Maybe that is the issue. But right now what should happen is this is all white, right? So what we could do, or what we should do, is validate that's not the issue. Oop. Okay. Well, let's do this then. Let's move the Android emulator off to the side here, and let's go in and modify the configuration for Android. So in Android, they're not giving us a lot of options in the configuration template. Let me go into project settings. Oh boy, this UI is broken. Super long. Let's go into here now. Here we go. So in Android, for debug, we want ARM, we want AAB, enable multi-dex, we want D8, and I think I was having a problem with D8 earlier, so I think we'll leave it at DX. we're not going to code shrink. It doesn't even give me the ability to select what version of build tools to use. Huh. Here you'll see that it now, oh, that's Mac Catalyst. Did it add anything to here? I don't see it adding anything to the CS proj file. Let's go into manifest. Manifest shouldn't tell you anything but information about that. It won't be there. Main activity shouldn't tell it. That's just telling it, that's the main activity that launches when the screen runs. This wouldn't tell it either. It's pretty much should be done in the manifest file. Let's ask Google this real quick. And Android. Here we go. Okay, so it's saying to use the Android build tools built into the IDE, it looks like. So let's go look at that. Maybe that's our issue. Maybe on this computer, I don't have API 29 build tools installed. I have a hard time believing that. Let's go to tools and let's go find Android. There's Android. Let's go to SDK Manager and see what it says for SDK Manager. So it says I have API 34 and 31 installed. It said bare minimum 29, so I do have API 34. It does say API updates are available. So I have build tool 34 installed. The latest command lines installed. SDK platforms version is 33. So let's get the latest version of MDK. Let's get 34 is already installed. I have 33 and 32. So that should be fine. Fanline tools, I've got the latest. Don't really need CMake, but having it is not a bad thing. Let's go to here, go show package details, and let's make sure that we have platform. We don't care about source. We want the ARM TV. We want the ARM64 image. I don't care about extension 8. There should be API 33. That's fine. See, they're just the SDK platforms. As long as we have the SDK platforms installed, that's all it should care about. I don't think this is it at all. I'm going to grab R in that just in case, save. And then how do I tell it? Maui, I don't care about that. I want to know, not the device, I want to know how to target. And how do I tell which Android version to target on when building? All right, let's see here. So they tell you how to do it in Visual Studio, but not in Rider. And let's see. And JetBrains Writer. Huh. It's saying that it's not available. So what is the CS Proj? So let's say .NET Maui Android CS Proj target Android platform version. All right, let's see here. Use this is what they're saying. Yeah, I don't think that that's the way to do it anymore. Here it is. This is it. This is what I'm looking for. It's in the CS Proj file. All right. That's done. Let's go back to CS Proj. And there should be a line in here for each. There we are. Here we are. That's what's going on. See if that fixes it. I don't need Tygen, so I'm going to remove that. Windows I'm okay with. See if that fixes it. I'll be kind of interested to see whether or not the AI is right or wrong. And I think that will be it for today on the lunch stream. We'll come back and do some stuff either later on tonight or tomorrow. Probably some different stuff. Oh, there's a new version of JetBrains Writer available. Yeah, it's more compatible with .NET 8. That'd be nice. That'd be very nice. Very nice Christmas present. So build, what we're doing here. Found the emulator. It's pushing it over. That's great. Don't think this is going to fix it, but if it does, I'll be pleasantly happy. Yeah, it doesn't. All right. So targeting a certain OS is not fixing it at all. All right. Well, I think we're good for the lunch stream today. So we've got iOS kind of working. We found that Rider's early access preview, if you download the latest version, at least on a Mac Studio Ultra with the latest version of macOS, does not allow you to use iOS simulators, when you have Xcode 5.0 or 5.01 installed. That's bad. So out there, if you're using this, you probably don't want to do that. I am going to update the latest version of Rider here, though, because that's important. And hopefully that doesn't break me. So I want to thank everybody for watching on the stream or watching on video on demand. We'll be back in our next episode where we're going to probably work on getting the user profile to show up and get some database code running with the app. So look forward to seeing you then.